my father's cereal. We wake on dry land where the sun works brilliant, until a bib is placed about my father's neck. A bowl is high upon books, and the largest spoon in the house is set in his hand between two crooked fingers. There is my mother creating this daily scene of events, pouring Cheerios into his bowl, adding the white milk before guiding my father's spoon down into it. She leaves the room then, and there is only myself sitting across from him. I have my own bowl, but do nothing about it. We are a pair of sorts. I refuse how his face is unreadable, that his brain is damaged enough to believe he is eating, and he is blind to the point where he thinks I look fine. When we move as slow water moves barely along because nothing can save us. His spoon floats through air, is empty, treading in space. My thoughts are all garbled as if made of liquid. We remain this way, my father and I, as if underwater. The Cheerios turn soggy, inflating like inner tubes, but it is too late. Soon we will drown in this moment. Day will begin, and there will only be the strange surfacing of our tragic lives. So I'm going to read two more. I thought I would read something from Uncommon Geography, and I noticed in the bio it talked about the swamp in Florida. I was also caring for a house on stilts in the swamp in the Panhandle. This was this was about 5 years ago. But I will read a poem from the swamp. This is called The Initiation. This reminds me of your Invisible Man poem, okay? The Initiation. It was frightening to grow calm lying down and yet not know what sleep held. What the mind of wild trees might do. Black snakes, the alligator I spotted earlier. In the swamp, anything was possible. Already I witnessed areas with no wind and flickering leaves. I had found shadows freeing themselves enough to come alive. And when, by middle night, a presence came through the screen, something that took no form but moved curiously forward. I, who had come this far to be torn from the civilized world, knew only how to be good to it, was good to it in opening myself, my limbs, as a woman might, and allowed its power to fall over me, learning as eyes do, entering words on a page. I was read that way, and then in a manner which meant acceptance, felt gently closed like a book as it left. And I'm going to finish with a poem for Ray, who likes this one poem. I also was teaching in Homer, Alaska, which is like a frontier town. It's a beautiful town that has like a stunning view of mountains, volcanoes, and glaciers. And it started with the gold rush, I would say, in the 1800s, that town. And there was a woman there, a Caucasian woman that was the librarian, and she was very meek, and I was curious about her because a lot of the women were homesteaders. They were very hardy. There were grizzlies, across the bay there, and these people were fearless in some respects, and then she was very meek. So I asked her what her backstory was, and I was surprised. She came from Connecticut to University of Alaska and fell in love with an Inupiaq Eskimo, and had, and this was in the 70s, and had gone up to live with his tribe of 30 way north in the place called Point Lay. And she was doing everything. She had a child, and the child was nested in her parka. They slept on polar bear skins, and she was a hunter and gatherer. So when I left, I wanted to write of her, and wanted to do it from a different angle. So I shrunk her like a lilliput, and I put her inside me. This is called a premise poem. A premise poem is a poem where you build a world inside of something. So it's for Ray, okay? It's called After Alaska. She lives in me now, in the north of my chest, where it is all dark, all winter. To my ears will come her voice. Then to my eyes, this white woman. Then pathways to the tribe she roamed with, to places inside me where they are hunting and she is gathering, and there a certain arrow, and there a stab of certain pain. Then to moments other than these, to nights when my heart is a drum for her dancing, and her movements tell stories, and I feel in her feet all that was told to me, all that was shared. When I breathe, and the wind blows in a mighty power, my mouth forms a small opening, and she scales the dark throat to leap where my lip catches the light, that she might sit and be warmed for a while. I felt her once, during an inner storm, as a certain chill ran through. After my muscles tightened into big cold mountains, that she was arranging my ribs, arcing them same as the shelter she spoke of in the icy north of Alaska, where they shape whalebone over driftwood and pack it with sod. There is a vein landscape she traverses in the spring, where my blood runs as thawed rivers, and she waits on the sands of myself for the return of the whale, propped against a white embankment of bones, knees drawn to her chest, as in the way of the Eskimo, at times looking up, reading the starry pores, the sky of my cloudless skin.